Hello everyone. So today we will be going to see how we can use this reflection test utils while unit testing. So this reflection test utils is a utility class provided by the Spring framework that allows us to manipulate fields, invoke the method, or inject the dependencies in a class during the unit testing, even if they are private or not accessible directly. So this is especially useful when testing legacy code or classes with the private fields or method. So typically it is used to set the private fields in an object or to get the values from the private fields or to invoke the private methods. So what is the reflection test utils? So sometimes in the testing scenario, you need to access the private member of the class or to inject a dependency that is not easily accessible or configurable. In that case, what we can do is we can use this reflection test utils. So it provides an easy way to access or modify such fields or method during the test. So for example, if you are writing a unit test for a class with the private field that are not set via constructor injection but maybe via some other methods. In that case, what we can do, we can use this reflection test util that will allow you to set these fields manually. So what are the mainly method used? These are the set field to set the value of a private field, get field to get the value of the private field, invoke method to invoke the private method. So let's see the example here. Okay. Now here is we are having the class called my service. Inside that you can see this is a private variable, private string message. This is a public method, and again this is a private method. Now in this case you can't set the message field directly from a unit test because it is a private. However, with the help of reflection test util, we can. How we can set this private field? So if we can create this my service test, and inside the method, what we can do? First, we can create an instance of that class. Then after that, we can use the set field method. There, we can give the this instance. Then the message is the variable name, and what value we need to set to that value. Then here we can also assert this my service dot get message is equal to hello world or not. I will go to the STS. We can create here a simple Spring Starter project without there will be no dependency we'll require here basically. I will just click unit testing one. No dependency will be added. I will click on finish. So this is our project will be created in the form.xml. So we have this Spring Boot starter test already. Now what we can do is I will here create a new class called my service inside the package dot service. Okay. Now what we can do is this was my service, inside that one variable private, one public method, and one is a private method. Okay. Now this is a private variable, this is a private method. Now in the src test java for unit testing, I will create one class called my service test inside the folder service. Okay. Now what we can do here is first we'll create a instance of the class that we want to test. Before that we have to create a one method. Yeah, we have created an instance of the class. Now what we have to do is this is our class and we want to set a value to this variable called message, but this is a private, we cannot access directly, right? Now what we can do is we can use here a reflection test utils method that is set field. Okay, now I will copy this Here what we have to do is object, then name and the value. Now this is the instance of an class my service that we have to test. Inside that we have one private variable called message, right? That we have given here message. And which value we have to set to that message is hello world. That's why we have given here. Now we'll test this field if it is set correctly or not. Okay. Now here, whenever we'll be calling my service dot get message, okay, it will return the message. Let me try to run this. Yeah, you can see it is running. So it will be calling this get message and the message field we have set to the hello word. So again it will return a hello word and it will be true. Then here we can see example, this set field, it will set the value of the private field message in the my service object. Then we'll do assertion with an assert that the get message will, that method will return hello word, which will be equal to the expected value. Now we have seen with the private field how we can set a private field using the reflection test util. Now we'll see how we can invoke the private method using this reflection test utils. Here is an example. So, so this is a code. We'll go through that to here is a method test invoke private method. First again here we'll create an instance of the class my service equals to new my service. Then we'll set value to the private field. What is the private field we have here? That is the message. Okay. Now by using this reflection test utils set field, we can give the instance of a class whatever the field, that the field name is message, so we have to assign this hello reflection to that field. Now this we have already seen in this one how we can set a value to the private field. Now how we can invoke the private method. So again by using the reflection test utils there is one method, invoke method. Here we can see the we have to pass the whatever the class instance from where we have to call the private method. Then we can pass the method name. As we can see this is a print message. Now if I go to the my service, you can see here is a print message. Okay, so it will invoke that method. If I try to run this test invoke private method, let's see what we'll get. What we should get is in the print message you can see this message and whatever the value for the message it will be there. So value is hello reflection. Let me try to run this, run as a JUnit test, and here we go, message colon whatever the value assigned to this message it is printing here. So this way we can use this reflection test utils while unit testing to set the value to the private field of the class or to invoke the private method. Here is example set field. We set the private field message as before. Then invoke method. So this will invoke the private print message method of my service. If the method were doing more complex work than just printing a value, this is how we could trigger it during the test. Here is a third example to injecting a mock dependency. Suppose the class under the test have a private dependency that isn't exported via constructor or a setter injection. In that case also we can use this reflection utils to inject the mock dependency. Here is the example that is my controller, and you can see this is a private. Here the field we have declared it as a private. Okay, and by using this field we want to call this method called a process. So in the above class my service is a private field. Let's say you want to test the do something method by injecting a mock my service. Then by using the reflection test util, how we can do. So let me create first this controller inside this. So here we'll create new class inside the package controller, my controller. Okay, what happened? Why it is not giving? Okay, it is, yeah, there was some blank space. After we click on finish, here inside that we'll use this. Also we'll need to create one method called process. Let me do that here. And here we'll just return the process. Yeah, now the error is gone. Now in order to test this, what we have to do is we have to assign instance to this field my service. So if we go here and we'll create a class my controller test inside the controller. What we can do, how we can inject a mock using this. First we'll create an instance of the class, this my controller. Now we'll create a mock for the dependency. So what is the dependency in case of this my controller test? My controller, this is the dependency, my service. So first of all, before calling that, we'll stub the behavior of that method, whatever we are calling, that is nothing but the process. It should return the mock result. Now inject the mock into the private field that is my service using the reflection util. So whatever the class, this my controller instance, my service, then my service mock. So this is nothing but the field name. In the controller you can see this my service. Then again whatever the mock we have to inject, that we can give this my service mock. Then after that on the my controller we'll call do something, as we have already stubbed the behavior, we it should return this mock result. So let me copy this, the my controller test. Inside the method we have to write this. So now we have to test this, do something. But to test this, we have to inject a dependency to this my service. Okay, first what we'll do, we'll create an instance of the my controller, as we have to test this do something. Okay, then we'll create a mock for that dependency. What is the dependency we have here? My service. So using mockito.mock, we can create a mock for that dependency. Then also we have this method process. So we'll stop the behavior of that mock. So mockito.when, whenever we'll call this process, it should return mock result. Now how to inject the mock into the private field, that is my service, using the reflection util. So we can use this method set field. This is an instance of a class my controller we have to give. Here we have created. Then the field name. What is the field name? My service. And again the instance, this my service mock. Then after that we'll call my controller dot do something. Okay, so it should return the mocked result, as we have here already stopped the behavior. Now if I try to run this, run as a JUnit test, yeah, it will run success. So this way we can use the reflection test util. Here is example mocking. So we use the mockito to create a mock my service. Then setting the mock reflection utils.set field is used to inject the mock into the private field, that is my service. Then stubbing, we define the behavior of the mock using mockito.when. Then testing, we assert that do something, return the expected value from the mock. What are the common use cases of this reflection utils? So while unit testing the private method, so although it is usually a sign of design issue, if you frequently need to test this private method, reflection utils allowed you to test them directly. Next, we can injecting the dependencies for the testing. So for the legacy code or classes where dependency injection isn't straightforward, we can use reflection test util to inject the mocks or real object. Next is us accessing the private field. So when testing a class that uses the encapsulation, that is nothing but the private field, this utility allows us to set or get the field values with altering the access modifier. What is the conclusion? So reflection test util is a powerful utility in the Spring for accessing and manipulating the private member of the class during the testing. So I will give the link of this block in the description. From there we can practice this reflection test util. So if you like this video, you can hit like button and subscribe to our channel.